Okay, now we're going to combine all these transformations together. So let's look at this particular function, and you see the function sitting right here. And we're just going to do this by order of operations. So that the thing that probably we should follow order of operations. And this is the easiest thing to do. And the only exception was when we were combining horizontal shifting and horizontal stretching or compression at the same time. Then again, you have to factor out to do that. And then actually, if you look closely, the order seems to be reversed. That's about the only exception. So I have these points. Let's again graph them. Not graph them, just denote what they are. They're already graphed. Which is great. And now think about the order of operation. So as you have the same thing here, the first thing that's going to happen is that I'm going to multiply the input by negative 0.5. So let's apply that rule first, which means that I'm leaving the y part alone. So I'm going to write these values down again. They're not being touched. And again, it says I'm going to multiply by negative a half. But really the question is, again, a way to view this is what do I need to enter here? So when I multiply by negative 0.5, I get negative 5. But that's a lot to think about. So it just might be easier to do this. Instead of multiplying by negative 0.5, which again, let me remind you, negative 0.5 is expresses negative a half. I'm going to instead multiply by its reciprocal, which is 2. So instead of doing half, I'm going to multiply by 2. So for example, negative 2 times negative 5 gives me a positive 10. Now, how does that fit into what I just said a second ago? What value do I need? So when I multiply it by negative 0.5, I get negative 5. So 10 half, sorry, 10 times negative a half gives me negative 0.5. So I'll continue. 2 times negative 2 is a 0. 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4. Okay, and that I have applied that rule. What happens next? Well, that's it. The function, this has been applied, then the function does what the function does to create this picture. Now, the last thing is the vertical, attacking the verticals. Remember, this whole thing, everything is a y. So now go, 2 times y. So at that point, what I'm changing is the y component. So this part gets left alone. I'm purposely not writing this function stuff just so we can see it piece by piece. And really, what I'm going to do is multiply the y values by 2. So that the 10, 0, and negative 4 continue to be those values. And now what it says is multiply all the y values by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 10. And 3, sorry, did I say 3? 2 times 5 is 10, and then 2 times 0 is 0. And I've applied that rule. And now I'm ready to do the last rule. And what does the last rule says? It goes, look, after you have multiplied by 2, subtract negative 1 from all the y values. Again, this, remember what happened when you write f of x, remember, we always say it's equal to y. So this whole thing is the y component. So again, I am attacking the y component now, changing that. So this part remains the same, 10, 0, negative 4. And now apply the last transformation, which is subtracting 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5, 10 minus 1 is 9, and 0 minus 1 is 1. Okay, so now I'm ready to graph. where does negative 5, 3 go to? It looks like it goes to 10, 5. So 10, 5 is right here. That's where it went. So it went from negative 5, 3 to 10, 5. Where does 0, 5 go? This point, it goes to 0, 9. So 0 and 9 right up here. And finally, where does 2, 0 go? And 2, 0 went from to negative 4, negative 1, looks like. I want to make sure I did that correctly. Yep, it looks that way. Good. And I'm going to do my stretch. You get negative 4, 1. Fantastic. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. And this is not connect the dot. Again, this, and this were these 3 dots are then transformed to create this picture right here. So notice there has been a horizontal stretch, a vertical stretch, and then a vertical shift. So the 3 things that we've done are horizontal stretch by a factor of 2. Then vertical stretch. Also, in fact, make it more precise by a factor of negative 2. So again, that's how we multiply everything by negative 2. Vertical stretch by a factor of 2. And the last thing is a vertical shift down by 1 unit.